Namaste everyone, this is Shrikant Rangal here, and we are doing the third day of the FDP on effective use of Moodle for NAAC and NBA. So in the previous 2 days we had discussed about the introduction, which happened in the first day, wherein we went through the navigation of the Moodle site. What is Moodle site? What are the different features offered by it? We also discussed a little bit about course outcomes and program outcomes, and how Moodle can effectively help us to target these program outcomes and course outcomes. On the second day, we went through the phase 0 of implementing Moodle, wherein we talked about the two aspects, that is uploading of notes which are manually written, scanned copy of notes as files, or PowerPoint presentations or document files, which the students will be able to download and study on their own. And we also talked about accepting assignments in the form of scanned copies from the students as PDF or Word documents or any other document type which is supported by a computer. So today we are talking about the phase 1, and phase 1 means we are going a step ahead of what we did in the phase 0, and we are trying to make better use of the quiz activity which is offered by Moodle, and we'll be uploading a lot of questions to the question bank. We'll learn about how to upload these questions to the question banks, how to create these questions in the question bank, and then using these questions from the question bank we will understand how to create the quizzes. We'll also learn about how the students will be able to answer these quizzes, and how the faculty members will be able to provide better feedback to the students and ensure that the students learn from these quizzes. Let's proceed. So as usual, I'll just go to the Moodle site, and from here I'll be demonstrating to you how all these functionalities can be covered. First, let's talk about the question bank. So as soon as you sign in, you will come to this particular interface, and from here we'll have to go to our courses. So if I click on my courses, if I'm signed in as a teacher, I will get all the courses to which I have been added as a teacher. If I'm a student, I'll get all the courses to which I've been added as a student. So we are talking about demo, this one. So let's go back. I think we'll have to log out and sign in as a new user. So let's log in as a new user. Okay. Yep. So now that we are signed into the Moodle site as a new user, we can see that this new user was added to 2 courses. One was the engineering graphics, and the other was this demo website. So we will learn how to create these questions on the Moodle site. Okay, so before going for that, let me just introduce you to all the different types of questions. Okay. Oops. Something is missing. Right. Have to come out. Login as administrator. Okay. All right. First, let us see all the types of questions that we have available here in Moodle. So this is a demo test which I include with every course that the students have to go through, and this test makes the students comfortable with all the types of questions which Moodle has to offer. So here you can see that there are a total of 7 questions on the first page, and on the second page we have some more questions. So these are slightly different kind of questions. So this is close type, image type, drag and drop, and image marker drag. Let us go through all these questions one by one to understand what type of questions are available. So one thing to note that all these 12 questions are automatically evaluated kind of question. So when we upload the question, we are supposed to provide the right answers to the Moodle in the beginning itself. And as soon as the question is given to the students, as soon as the students answer this quiz, automatically they will get the result of that. So let's go ahead and see. The first question is called the multiple choice question, which is also sometimes called as objective question. Here there will be one question. Okay, there will be one question at the top, and there are a number of options. We can provide, starting from 2 options, we can provide any number of options that we want the students to answer. Out of these, only one option will be usually correct, and the student has to choose that in order to get whatever marks are allotted to that particular question. If the student answers the wrong, it selects the wrong option, all the marks will be reduced, and if he's choosing the correct option, the full marks for that particular question will be allotted to the student. The next type of question is called multiple response type of question. It is similar to MCQ, but instead of having a single correct answer, there are more than one correct answers possible, and depending on how many of the correct answers he is choosing, marks will be allotted, and depending on how many wrong answers he is choosing, the marks will be deducted. So in this case, 50% of marks are added for each correct option, and 33% of marks are deducted for every wrong answer that he is marking. So if the student is marking all the options, he will end up getting 0 marks. So that's how this particular question type functions. And coming here, we have a true or false type of question. The format to upload this particular type is very simple, and then hence we can use this format instead of using an MCQ type. You can see the format is very similar to the MCQ type, but the format of uploading it becomes very easy, and hence there is a separate special question type meant for true or false. So we can just provide the students with a statement and ask the students whether this statement is true or false. So in this particular case, it is first true. So next question type is match the following kind of question, wherein we can provide 2 columns. One column we can provide on the left, and then one column on the right. So the left column entries should be matched correctly with the right side entries. So while uploading, I had uploaded it in the correct order, like first, then second, then third, then fourth and fifth. But here you can see when it appears to the student, it is randomly jumbled, and the same jumbling happens here in all the different cases. Okay, so all these options, wherever options are there, they will always be jumbled. So here, right side, first option answer, fourth option answer. So not only are the left side randomly mingled, the right side as well have been randomly mingled. So the second comes here, second, fifth comes over here, third comes over here. So this is how the answers are supposed to be given. Now, because there are 5 matches that need to be made, each question carries 20% of the marks. Okay, so depending on how many answers are selected correctly, accordingly the marks will be added here. The next type answer is a fill in the blanks type of question, wherein a statement will be there for the students to read, and the answer of that students need to fill it in here. Okay, so for this particular question, we just need to copy paste this particular thing over here. So depending on our question, we can just provide the definition of a particular term and ask them to fill up the term over here, or we can provide an equation over here and ask them what is the name of that equation or something like that. So whatever students will be able to feed from the keyboard available from the desktop, laptop, or from the keyboard which is available on their mobile, we can put the answer in that particular format. Then coming over here, we have a numerical kind of a question wherein the values are randomly generated, and every student for every attempt he will get a different value. Now depending on the formula which they have to remember, in this case I have provided the formula, but it need not be provided to the students. Fine, we can just remove the formula while uploading it to the Moodle, and we can just provide them some inputs and ask them to calculate a particular value. So this question is just for demo purpose, so I have kept that value present here. So they just need to do the calculations, which they can use a calculator available with Windows for that particular purpose. So 8.5 times 0.8, and this answer they need to feed in here. As far as that answer is within 1% error, the tolerance of the error also we can feed it while uploading the video, uploading this particular question. We'll see that in a while. Fine. And then this particular type is a kind of question which provides one of the four options as the correct formulation of the inputs given. Fine. Again, the input values will be different for every student, and the same input values will be formulated here and presented to the student. He has to choose the correct of these formulations. So let us learn now how to upload these questions. So before going for upload, let me just show you the remaining type of questions as well quickly, and later we will see how to create all these questions in the question bank. Right. So this particular type of question is called closed type question or embedded kind of question, wherein different questions are embedded here into the quiz. So in the beginning you can see there are some inputs given here. So based on the inputs we need to do the calculations and feed the values. We can provide calculation kind of questions, we can provide multiple choice kind of questions, we can provide multiple choice in this format. Instead of drop down, we can provide it in this format. Now all these options of course will be jumbled up. Okay, so here there are 3 correct answers. Students have to choose them, and then here the same thing is arranged horizontally. So it's all up to us. We can choose any type of question to be embedded into a single question. So this particular question will be evaluated for the marks which are shown around here. So there are a total of 17 inputs here, and each one is carrying 1 or 2 marks. Fine. Then we have image drag and drop kind of a question here, so we can drag and drop these over here. Fine. So instead of having just numbers which are present here, you can decide to drag and drop other stuff as well. So you can have a coupler, or in case of mechanical engineering, for example, we can have a coupler or machine part, and all these machine parts might need to be dragged and dropped into correct place. We can use it as a kind of image puzzle. And we have missing text kind of a question. All the options will be jumbled every time the question is loaded. This is called the missing words. And then we have drag and drop question, wherein we can drag and drop this to its particular place. Then we have drag and drop marker kind of a question, wherein this marker on the top left side should be dragged and dropped to the convenient place. Okay, so depending on how many markers are placed correctly, we will get the correct answer. Okay, so once the student submits this, instantaneously he will get the results. Right? So how many marks he got out of total marks, and he will also be provided with a grade. Grade is measured by default out of 10 grades. So out of 10, what is the grade he got will be displayed here. And on the right side you can see here all the questions that are marked correctly will appear with green tick mark. The questions that he has left unanswered will appear in red, and the questions which has partially answered correctly will appear like this in the form of yellow background with a dot. So the students can review whatever submissions they have made They can learn from the feedbacks which are provided. The feedbacks also can be uploaded in the beginning itself, and the students can go through these in order to find out what mistake they have done, and accordingly they can go for the same quiz again if they want to improve it. Okay, so this is a very important and effective way of letting the students know what mistakes they have done, and also to encourage them to learn everything in a trial and error kind of a fashion. So let's now go ahead and understand how to create these questions in the question bank. So we'll again come here to the new course, and first let us see where the question bank is available. So as soon as we come into the particular course, we can see that this course is now on. We are inside the course. So here we have to just go for more, and we have to use the question bank here. So when the question bank loads up, it will provide us with this interface. Okay, so here we can see all the categories that have been created already. If you want to create new categories or manage the categories, you can just choose categories from here. So this will provide us with this particular interface wherein we can create any categories we want. So let's click on add category, and we can choose here what is the top category, and under that category we will be creating a new category. So let's create the new category here and go for add. Now we can see that a new category has been created. Now we can just click on this category to get inside of that category, and if there are any questions within this category, all of them will be listed below. So right now there are no questions here. We need to add these questions one by one. So let us create a new question, and here you can see all those questions are available, and whatever questions we had seen here in the demo. So this demo had shown us a lot of different questions. So all these questions can be created from this interface. Okay, so you can just go for multiple choice. Let's go ahead and create multiple choice question first. So here we can type the question statement, and yeah, this is the question name. So this is how it will be appearing to the faculty member, and this is how it will appear to the student. So this question name will not be visible to students, so you can just provide a question number and type of question around here, and the question statement should be provided here to the student. Okay, then if we scroll down, we'll be able to see the option to add choices. Fine. So choice 1, choice 2, and so on. We can go on adding all the choices here. Choice 2, choice 3. So we can provide as many options as we want. So additional options you can just leave empty. Whatever we leave empty will not be added to that particular question. So in this question we have provided a total of 4 choices. After providing all the 4 choices, we need to select which of these options is correct. So that should be selected by putting a grade value. So we have to provide a grade value of 100% to the correct question, and all of the questions should have a grade value of 0. You can just put none. So you can just keep it as none, and next when we click save, the question gets saved. I can see under this category in bracket we are shown 1 as the number because 1 question is present in this category. Now for this question we can just click here and go for preview to check how the question appears. Okay, so you can see that the answers have been jumbled up, and the question statement is here. We can choose one of the questions and submit and see how the question will appear. So question choice 3 we had given 100% mark, so green tick mark is appearing. We can start again. Let us select a different one now. So let's go for choice 1, submit. Now you can see that that particular question is marked off, and the feedback is appearing over here. So if you want to change the question, if you want to add feedbacks and other stuff to this particular question, you can again go back to edit question, and here after every option we can provide a feedback. Fine. So feedback for the wrong option. Okay, we can type in the feedback for wrong answers, and there are all kinds of options available here. All these options can be used for providing the feedbacks. Now we have provided the feedback for choice 1. Let's save it, and let's again go back to check how that feedback will be appearing. So let's go for preview again, and when we choose choice 1, which is actually a wrong option, we will get the feedback for it. Okay, so the correct answer is this, and your answer is incorrect, and you can see the feedback is visible over here. So this feedback, the student can check it, and based on the feedback he can try to understand why the answer went wrong, and there are all kinds of options to try to learn how to be correct the next time. So this is how we can add the questions. The same way we can add other kind of questions. There is an option for true or false. Let me just quickly go through all these types. So the question name, let's say true, false, question number 1. I can type the statement here. So statement, let's say true, and we can choose what the correct option for this is. Question status is ready, default marks is 1. Yeah, so here we can choose whether it is true or false, and just save it. So it's a simple kind of a question. We can see now that there are 2 questions. Let's go ahead and add the other kind of questions. So match short answer, match the question. Okay, it's not fine. So matching type of question is now being added. So match question number 1. We can provide a statement like match the left column options with the right ones. So this is just a statement which the students will be able to see. Then down here we can provide the question. So question is the option of the left column. Okay, and answer is the right side that the student has to select. Okay, so we can go on providing more than the one option choice. So let me just go ahead and choose this. We'll provide the second one and provide the third one, so on. And answer, let's go with the second option, and go with the third option, and so on. Alright, so when you click on the save button, the question will be saved. And match the following question, when you go for now checking the preview, you can see, so left 1, answer 1. You can see that it has been jumbled up, and the student has to correctly match the left side with the right side once. Only then you will get the correct mark. So that's with the match the following kind of question. Let's go ahead and add the next type, which is short answer type. Okay, so short one. So statement for that. And then below we can just put in the answer. So now answer, we can put multiple options. So there may be spelling errors, or there may be all kinds of different errors possible which the students can make, and we can select all the possibly correct answers over here. So options, let us say option, or if it is a spelling mistake which you also want to consider automatically. Okay, so you can just select all the possible answers over here and grade them accordingly. Okay, so options and options, I will just put 100% grade, but here there is a spelling mistake. So if you want to reduce a few marks for that, so 20% marks, that is same reducing for that particular option, you can just type that in and go for save. So this way you can add all the different kinds of questions, right? So most of these questions are almost similar. So numerical also you have similar input, but here the one additional thing is the tolerance, right? So numerical one, so let's say find area. So length is let's say 5, breadth is let's say 6. So 5, 6, the 30 should be the answer. So when you feed the 30 as the answer, here the error acceptable is also present. So we can provide how much error we can accept. So whether it is plus or minus, both the values will be accepted. So let's say if I'm providing a value of 1 here and I'm giving the grade of 100%. So 31, so 29 to 31, all these answers will be accepted as correct if I'm providing the tolerance of 1 over here and the value of 30 over here. So also if you want to give 50% of grade for the different matches, you can do that as well. So let us say I'm accepting 0.1 of error for 100% accuracy, but if the error is going beyond that up to 1 of same value 30, I'm giving just 50% of marks. So let's go ahead and save it, and when we just check the preview of this, the same is going to be applied. So let us say if I'm providing the t.1 as the answer, you can see I'm getting full marks, but let's start again and this time provide a different answer. Let's say I'm providing a 31 as the answer. So here you can see only 50% of the marks are being given. Fine. So this is and the answer is of course marked as partially correct. So this way we can control the correct answer and the tolerance values, and accordingly the valuation is going to occur. Let's move forward for the next question type. And yeah, the next one is calculated simple. So this question generate random input values for every attempt. We can generate hundreds of different input values, different combination of values, and for all these combination of values the answer will be calculated according to a preset formula, and based on how much tolerance we are giving it to be acceptable, the value within that range, within that acceptable tolerance value, will be accepted as correct. So let's say calculated first question. So once again we'll just take up a single rectangle, find the area of rectangle, and let's say we are providing them with two values, length equal to, so now this value we'll have to provide it in flower brackets. Okay, so flower brackets I can provide, first value is a, let us say, and breadth equal to flower brackets, again flower brackets, not square brackets, b. Okay, so these are the two values that I want the Moodle to generate randomly, and this is the statement. Okay, so here I need to put the formula. So formula again I have to put it in terms of the flower brackets. So a and b are the two values that I have provided. The correct formula is a into b, so I have to provide it like this. So this answer should be given full 100% marks. Tolerance value, you can see here it is in relative format, so whatever answer comes out, 0.01 times of that answer will be the tolerance value, both on positive and negative side. And we can also choose to display how many decimal points we want to be displayed. So this way we can feed the formula here, amount of marks that we want to provide for it, and also the tolerance values here. If the answer is wrong, we can just provide the students with the formula area equals to length times breadth. Okay, so this way when the student fails for the first time, we can just learn from the feedback and do it correctly the next time. So if you want the units and other stuff, you can just handle it over here. I'll just leave it for now, and I'll just click on save. After clicking on save, we'll get option for, okay, this interface is slightly difficult to understand in the first step itself. Let's again click on save. Find the wildcards. Yep. So here we need to generate the values. So how many values you want to generate, we can select it over here. So if I want 100 different values to be generated, we choose 100. And how many of those values you want to display, just to verify whether the answer is correctly, behaving just as we expect it to or not. So that we can do over here. And click on save again. Okay. So I'll have to click on generate, I think. Yeah. So clicking on the generate button. Okay. So there is some server error happening over here. Okay. So we gotta go back to the question once again. Click here. Let's say we generate 10 questions. We are providing an error. So maybe there is a server side error. We'll come back to this question at the end of this session if there is time enough. We will do that on a Moodle cloud site. Okay, so let's come back to our question and go ahead and see how to add the other question types. Okay, so calculated we'll see again a little later. Then we have drag and drop into the text. Right, so this kind of a question we had seen earlier over here, drag and drop into the question. Okay, so this question was the drag and drop type of question. So we had seen that we had to drag these boxes into their specific positions. Right, so this kind of question, how to generate, we're going to learn right now. Okay, so drag kind of question, let's say 1 is the thing, and here I need to provide the statement. Okay, select choice 1, and here I need to provide flower bracket, double open flower brackets, double close flower brackets, and inside them I need to provide a number. Okay, and the same number, what should be the value, the correct value of that, I have to select over here. So let us say choice 1 is the correct value here, and same way I can just go for choice 2, choice 3, and so on and so forth. So here I have selected first, and let's say choice 2, that needs to come here. Then choice 3, that comes over here. Okay, so we have selected the correct spots for choice 1, choice 2, and choice 3. So left side, choice 1, choice 2, choice 3 will appear, and right side there will be an empty blocks, and below we'll have blocks for this. Fine, so let's say block. Okay, so let's say block for this, block for this. Okay, so now we can just go for save. Now you can see the drag file, drag question has appeared. Let's go ahead and check this preview. And you can see left side, you can see choice 1, choice 2, choice 3 has appeared, and the blocks are appearing here but at the bottom. We can just drag and drop them into the required positions, and if the positions are correctly dragged and dropped, you will get full answer. But if that is done wrongly, marks will be deducted. Let's say I'm doing it in wrong order. Okay, let's make two of them. Only one of them is correct, so 30% of marks we will get, 33% of marks we will get. Right, so this is how the drag and drop kind of questions work. So next we have drag and drop markers kind of a question. So for drag and drop markers, you have to provide the question name, and then for this I can provide a statement like drag the markers to the locations. Okay, and at this point we need to create an image, right? So image we can just create it using paint if it is a simple one. So for this question type, I'm going to use a simple, very simple kind of a question. I'll just create number of different quadrants, and each quadrant I'll just put a different color in them. Let's say first I'm putting red over here, next I want orange over here, then green over here, and now so then I'm just going to save it. I'm going to save it on the desktop. Drag marker with the name drag marker. So that image needs to be provided over here. So background image is there. So this is where we need to choose that particular file. So upload a file, choose a file, then we have to go for desktop, and on the desktop we add saved a file. So where is that file? Yeah, this is where the file is. Upload. When the file is uploaded, it will appear like this, and then we can choose marker, right? So first let us say red, and then orange. Okay, and then marker 3, let's say for green. Okay, green, and then for blue. So if you want, you can just keep infinite number of these markers, or you can just provide a limited number of them. It's all up to you, right? Alright, so one of these I'll just keep as infinite, so that we know how that appears. So once the markers are defined, we need to define the zones into which these markers need to be dropped. Okay, so let's say for the first marker, that is red colored marker, we need a shape. Let's go for a rectangular shape, and as soon as we select that rectangular shape here, that shape is going to appear. So that we need to drag and drop it over here. So within this region, if the red marker is dropped, the answer should be marked as correct. And then same way we have to go ahead and choose the marker for other ones, right? So this is for okay, which one? This is for orange. Okay, so orange starts over here and all the way up to here. We have to choose the areas in such a way that even if the student makes a mistake of drawing it on the border, it should be accepted as correct. So it's always better to select a region which is larger than the region we expect the students to mark. So let's say for green one, and you can select polygon as well. So if we select polygon, we have option of selecting every corner point separately. Okay, so what if we wanted to add one more point to this particular thing? So you just have to mark this one and provide x comma y kind of a coordinate system, and you can see that an additional point has appeared now, and so you can just drag and drop it. So within this region it will be marked as green. You can also choose a circle kind of marker. Let's choose it for blue. So let's mark it over here. So now the problem is that if the student drops a marker in this area, then it will not be marked as correct. Okay, so this is how one by one we need to select the correct region for all the question types, and we just need to save the question. And now that the question is saved, we can go ahead and take a look at it by preview. So in the preview, we can see all the markers which I had chosen. They are appearing here. The student need to correctly place it. Fine. So whether the student anywhere in this area, if the student place it, it will be marked as correct. Whereas for the blue one, there is a circular area over here within which the students has to place it. So let me just place it away from that circle so that we can see how the answer is marked wrong. So let me place red over here, green over here, somewhere in the middle. So whether we place it in the middle or in the corner, or whatever corner we want, it will be marked as correct. Right. So even this region was selected. So even if we keep it here, it will be selected as correct. So submit and finish. And here you can see the answer is partially correct. 3 of the answers are correct. But I don't know, Moodle still doesn't have the ability to show which of the options went wrong. Okay, so that one ability it's not having, so probably it has kept it for sometime in the future. So right now the wrong answer options will not be shown, so the student would have to find it out himself or herself which option went wrong, and he can learn from this. So let's add the next type. So we're done with drag and drop markers, drag and drop into the text. Then we have drag and drop onto image. Right, so we can drag and drop image onto another image. That's what this kind of a question is. Let's quickly go through this. The question type, drag image, let us say. Okay, so drag the images to the correct places. Okay, so here once again we'll have to select a background image. So let's choose the same file that we had chosen earlier. Recent files, we had already uploaded it. Okay, so but that is not appearing over here. So instead of choosing from here, we can just drag and drop it as well. So we already know where it is present, so from the desktop we can just drag and drop it and it will be loaded. Then draggable atoms. So for draggable atoms we need to be careful. We need to save each of these as separate files. So let's say option 1, I'm saving it as option 1 and this is my option 1, so save again. Okay, and then I'll just open that back and again save as option 2. The second option, let's say I want to show this one, so crop and save. Then again I need to open the original image, save it with a different name, option 3, and here I have to select this, crop, save it as option 3. So now we have a total of these many images. Okay, so one image is for the background and there are 3 images for the options, so all of these need to be uploaded. Okay, so this one is for that, so let's keep it aside here, and one by one all these we need to upload them. So the background we have already uploaded, so first option 1 we need to drag and drop, then second option we need to drag and drop here, then the third option we need to drag and drop over here. Once all the options and the background are dragged and dropped, we need to decide the drop positions. Right. So for deciding the drop positions, you have to select the options one by one, and then once we select those options, they are going to appear over here. Fine. Then we drag it over here, drag this over here, keep it over here. Fine. So this just like that we will get all the options. Okay, so the position of these answers will automatically get recorded once we place them over here. Okay, and once these are placed, we can just save it. And now that the question has been saved, we can go back and check it out. So let's try it out how it appears. Let's go for preview, and here you can see there are 3 options at the bottom and we need to drag and drop it over here. So first option over here, second here, third over here. So submit, and you can see I've got full marks. Fine. If I end up making some mistakes, accordingly the marks will be deducted, because there are 3 correct options. 33% marks are for each correct answer, and each wrong answer will deduct as many marks from the total. So that's for the drag and drop image type of a question. Now the embedded kind of a question type, it provides all the different embedments that we want. It can provide multiple choice, multiple response, numerical, even fill in the blanks. So whatever type of question we want, we can embed it here. But this is where it becomes a little difficult. So you need to know a little bit of coding in order for you to correctly do this. Fine. So if you just click here on the question mark and go for okay, it's opening in the same page. Let's open it in a different page. So let's press Control and click on this. It will open a new page. And now this document shows, it has all the explanation about how the coding needs to be typed into the question for it to appear in different formats. Okay, if you want a short answer type of question, you need to provide this particular code. The question needs to start with this code. Fine. So there are some sample codes provided at the bottom somewhere. Let's talk. Yeah, here. So you can see this San Francisco, and multiple choice means it will understand that this is a multiple choice kind of question with the two options. Whatever we type after hash will appear as feedback, and whatever is before will appear as one of the options. If the option is correct, you need to type equal. If the option is wrong, you need to type as this. Right. So this is how we need to enter the values in the question as code. Now you might need some time to understand this particular code, and only after understanding will you be able to correctly feed it. Okay, so even myself, it took a lot of time for me to understand the code and be able to use it. And after understanding this, I was able to generate I was able to develop a software, a code generator, which will automatically do all this coding for me. Near the end of this FDP, I'm going to show a demonstration of that code generator. And if any of you are interested in using that code generator, you can just contact me, and we can go ahead with the further talks. So for now, let me just copy and paste the code from here, and we'll see how to modify these codes to slide to make it suitable for us. Okay. Let's take this particular example 2. Let's go ahead with example 2. Okay, so let me take this particular thing and copy it over here. So now that the code is fed, let me type embed 1 as a question number, and this is the question. So let me just click on save. Let's quickly take a look at how the question appears. Okay, so this is the embed question. Let's go ahead, take a look at the preview. So you can see here that the code which we had entered is now appearing correctly in this particular format. So if you want to go on editing this particular course, the code, you can open the editing of that in one window, and we can keep the preview in another window, and we can just go ahead and keep on changing the options over here and see how that reflects here by refreshing it. And that should help you to create an embedded kind of a question successfully. So I'd like to give you a quick view about how I utilized this particular type of question for my course of engineering graphics. Mechanical to engineering graphics. So in engineering graphics, if you are aware of this subject, students have to complete a drawing, and then based on the outputs from the drawing, students have to draw the diagram. Fine. So in order to verify whether the students have drawn the diagram correctly or not, I was able to create hundreds of thousands of embedded type of questions. So some of these questions I'd like to show you here. So let me just go to projection of lines type of question, and let me go for this particular quiz. So these are the number of attempts made by students. Let's just go ahead and take a quick preview at this question. So you can see that I have typed the question at the beginning, and I have given the students some input values, and based on these input values, the students would have to answer all these questions. Okay, so first question is, the line is parallel to, and there are a number of options, so students have to choose the correct answer over here. So in this case, you can see in the question itself, reads that line is parallel to HP. So the correct option here would be just HP. If it is parallel to HP, it may not be parallel to VP. Okay, fine. So this is the only correct option. And then After drawing the diagram, students would have to make measurements from the diagram, and they'd have to come here and feed these values. So they would have to measure the angle, feed the value of angle over here. They'll have to measure the value of front view and top view length, and they'll have to give it over here. And the side view length, they'll have to feed it over here. So all these values they'll have to obtain from the diagram. Okay, so now I was able to use some mathematics, algebraic mathematics, and I was able to get the values of these, and I also provided a tolerance value of 1% in plus or minus direction both, so that students, even if they are making some slight mistakes while drawing, if their snap is not corrected correctly or there are small kinds of errors within acceptable limits, the answer should still be accepted as correct. So this is an example of embedded type of question. And I hope you have understood what this question type is, and of course it's going to take much longer for us to understand the code. If we want to understand the code and use it, it's going to take much longer. So I'm just going to stop here for now. If required, if you're showing a lot of interest, we can go ahead and conduct one more FTP with detailed coverage about how to utilize closed type of questions for creating the quiz. So now you can see that our question bank is correct. We can add multiple questions of each type, as many question types as we want, and all these questions will get collected over here. And once all the questions are collected, it's time for us to create a quiz using these questions from the question bank. Fine. So we just have created the quiz questions in the question bank. They're still not available to the students. So in order, if you want to make it available to the students, we have to come back over here, turn on the editing mode, and we'll have to add an activity, because quiz is a new activity. So let us say we had hidden this from the students in the yesterday's class. So let us say I don't want this to be visible to students for till the quiz is completely ready. So let's go ahead and add an activity, and the activity we need here is quiz. So we can just type a few letters here and it'll appear over here. So let's choose quiz, and now I can just give a name of this quiz. Let us say assignment 1 or learning plan 1 or something, whatever you want to call it, you can call it with that name. You can provide descriptions. Okay, till you score 100%. Okay, then you can decide a timing if you want. You can decide the time when the quiz becomes available to the students, and once the students opens, if you want this quiz to be available for a limited amount of time, let's say 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then you can just provide it over here. I usually go with a limited amount of time for remember and understand level, but for apply level, usually students need a lot of time to complete the diagram and submit the results. I just don't select this particular thing for them. But if you want the quiz to be available at a later time, then you can just enable this and feed at what date and time you want this quiz to be available to the students. I'll just keep it deselected for now. You can also select how many grades you want the students to score in order to pass it. Now grade, if you remember, grade is always counted from a maximum of 10 value. It's like percentage for just instead of percent, it's per dec, you can say, because it is choosing a score if it was out of 10 marks. Fine. So then yeah, I think these settings are enough for now. We'll just go ahead and create this particular quiz. So now you can see that the quiz has been created with the name assignment. We have to go inside of this, and when we go inside, we can see that it displays all these options over here, but it still doesn't have any questions allotted to it. So as a teacher, we can just add the questions over here. Okay, so we can click here or we can click here, and we get this interface wherein we can add number of questions over here. So we can just click add, and if you want to create a new question from here, you have that option from here as well. But my suggestion to you is first create all the questions in the question bank and then come here and add this to the question bank. So if we can add the questions from the question bank, so as soon as we select that, you can see all these questions that we created are now appearing over here, and I can choose all the questions that I want to add from here. So I can choose MCQ, numerical, short, true or false. These questions I'm adding over there. You can see those questions have been added. Okay, so for each question I can also decide how many marks I want to allot them. So let's say for numerical questions, because it needs the students to calculate the value, I want more marks to be allotted, then I can choose this. MCQ is just multiple choice. Here as well the students actually have to type in the value, so we can provide more answers. Now true or false is just very simple true or false selection, so I can just provide lesser marks for that. So this way I can choose number of marks and the question that I want to be available to students. Then I can go ahead and add random questions as well. If I want to add random questions, from this, if I want some random question to be allotted to students, then I can just select that. But now the problem is that in this category there are a total of 9 questions. Some of these questions are fixed. Here they're not coming randomly, whereas we want the other questions to be randomly allotted to students. So what we have to do is we have to go back to the question bank. So let me open the question bank in a new window here, and I need to go to the categories, and I need to move those other questions to a new category. So let me open this category, and yeah, so numerical, MCQ, embedded, match the following was not selected, marker image was not selected, and okay, so these questions were selected and these are the other questions which were not selected. So let's move to a different category. So let's move them to default assignments, so move them to this category. So now you can see there is another category by name default category, and there is this new category. From new category we have provided all the questions, we have already imported all the questions, and from this category we want one random question to be imported. So I can just provide a random question, and then from here let's select this, and from this I can select one or two, how many questions I want to allot randomly. Okay, so now you can see random question has been allotted. It's not showing which question exactly. If you click on see questions, you will see all the questions, and here you can decide on how these pages are displayed as well. Fine, so all the first four questions will appear in a single page, and then the last two questions will appear on a different page. You can just allot a different marks for this because they are more difficult. Let's say we are adding more number of marks to this, and we can just click on save. So now all the questions and the marks for this have been saved, and now it is available for the students to solve. Okay, sorry, before it's available for the students there is one more step we need to do, and that is to make it visible. So as a teacher we have to come here and click on show topics. Now it is visible, but the question is still hidden from the students, so we have to come here and we have to make it visible as well. So now the question will be visible to the students. So let's come back here and log out and sign in to this as a student. Oh, but we have to first make the same account as a student. Alright, so let's come back as admin. We'll go to the new course, and here in the participants, okay, so new user, I want to change this to a student. So teacher need to remove. Okay, cancel, and I need to click on save. Now you can see that the new user is present as a student. So we can just refresh this. I can see the edit mode has gone, and I'm present inside here as a student. So I'm able to see this assignment now. So earlier in yesterday's class, if you open and see the video, it was not visible to us, but now it is visible. I can just open it, and I'll see as a student, every student will be able to see all these details, how many grades are required to pass, what is the time limit. 5 minutes is the time limit, and highest grade is always considered. You can attempt any number of times, and this is the feedback given by the faculty member. So click and start. So as soon as I start, you can see a time starts ticking over here on the right side. I'll get all these questions, and here the student can mark the question. Fine. So 5 6 the 30. Okay, and short answer. What was the correct answer? Was short. I don't remember it. Okay. Okay, so this answer was true, I think. So these answers selected. Then we go for fifth question. You can see randomly these two questions have been allotted. So every time the students start to attempt, randomly questions will be allotted from that particular category. Fine. So every time they will not get the same questions. So that's what creates a kind of surprise thing, and it will become more and more difficult for the students to answer this particular question. It doesn't become very easy for the students to answer it. So once the student has attempted all the questions, he has to click on finish attempt. You can also click finish from here or from here. Then he has to click submit all. So total 3 times the Moodle will confirm whether the student is sure that he has completed. In fact, here in the last screen, he will show which of the answers he has answered, and if there is some answer which is not answered, he will display it that as well. So students can click on these hyperlinks over here to go back and answer that question and continue from there. So let's click on submit and submit all. So as soon as the student is done submitting, you can see he is getting the score. The total marks were out of 13.5 marks. He's getting this as the marks, and per deck of that has been calculated over here. Out of 10, he would have got this many marks. 6.81 is the grade. So of course he can learn from the mistakes, whatever feedbacks and all were provided. He will get all those feedbacks over here, and he can learn from the mistakes, and he can again try it for a new attempt. So he can just finish with review, and he can go for reattempt. So every attempt that the student does will get recorded over here. He can always go back to review in which attempt what mistakes he did. Let's just quickly open another attempt and see if the same questions are repeating in the second page. We can see that here we have different set of questions. The questions here are completely different from what we got in the earlier attempt. So this is what maintains a kind of surprise for the students, and it doesn't reveal all the questions to the students at the same time. So I guess we are done with the today's session. It's 2:18, so we'll stop here at the moment, and if you have any doubts or anything, and you can just let me know in the comments. Let me come back and check out if there are any questions in the comments so that we can address them before finishing this attempt. Okay, so we don't have any questions, so to say. So okay, so we'll stop it here. So I think I have to share you the feedback. Okay, copy the link address, and okay. So feedback link is now made available. So those who want to register your attendance, you can just fill this form, and I think that's where we will stop. So I guess that's the wrong one. Sorry. This is the third day. So this is the link we're supposed to share. Okay, so this is a wrong one.